To all of you joining us this Sunday, happy Father's Day to you, viewing on this virtual celebration. Over the last year, it's been a difficult time for families, those that have lost fathers. On behalf of the Arbor family, which includes all of the Western Canada locations, our deepest sympathies to you and yours who have suffered loss, especially with dads. As we shoot this video, it will be just slightly more than one calendar year between the early March pandemic, which came upon Canada, and 2021, in which we're now making our way out of it. It raged all over the world, affecting the lives of all individuals, regardless of race, creed, color, stature, or gender. And yet during this time, I have met with families who have sat around tables, social distancing and masked. I've Zoomed with many families as they talked about the love and the strength of their fathers, those that have now passed. It has been a difficult journey. The distance placed upon family members and a loved one who was passing made it so difficult for you to reach out, to comfort, to hold, to talk, and to touch. And it seemed that many individuals, aged or young, passed not from COVID-19, but sometimes from loneliness. And so again, our sympathies to you on this difficult journey of loss. And yet today we come to celebrate the goodness of a dad or of a father. The first Father's Day celebration took place in 1910 in Spokane, Washington. The man being honored was named William Jackson Smart, and he was a Civil War veteran who on his own raised 6 children. It was an honorable celebration for an honorable man. We know that fathers tend to have, again, a very important part to play in family life. And I believe that there are 4 foundational building blocks that are laid by a father that allows the family to succeed. What I want to do is just go over some of these 4 cornerstones and hope that they were a part of your dad's existence, or for dads like myself or young men coming through the system of maybe marrying one day and having children, that you would apply these to your own life. I can only speak to 20 years of meeting with families and hearing amazing stories of dads. The one that I want to share with you is, to me, one of the greatest stories that I've ever heard. It was during the Depression, and a family had bought a farm, moved east to west, bought a farm, and on their farm they had a spring, a fresh spring that would just gush water. He also saw that the fence that protected the spring had been trampled on or cut numerous times. The gentleman needed to make a decision as to what to do about the fence, and he sat his family down, sons and daughters, to make a decision as to what they would do. He said to his children, we have 2 things that can take place. 1, we build a stronger, higher wall that will probably be again kicked in. Or 2, we bless our community by allowing them to use our water. Therefore, I will build a gate. He built a gate. When he died, everyone in that town and the surrounding area came to his service. It touched my heart because I thought to myself, there's a man who understood that he was not just going to be a servant to his family, but to his community. For all of us, again, regardless of color or race or religion, are one community. And that's what we saw in 2020 to 2021. We saw that we all were a part of this global pandemic. Now, these 4 pillars, again, this comes from Stu Weber, a Vietnam veteran who wrote a book, and I appreciated what he wrote. So take it as a grain of salt, apply it as you wish. First, I believe that it is important for fathers to be a balanced king. A balanced king is always balanced, never abdicating responsibility or being a warrior king who's always on the rampage. A balanced king brings balance and stability to the home. The quote that I'm going to use is from Sigmund Freud. And he said, I cannot think of any need in a childhood as strong as the need for a father's protection. I think all of us need to be a balanced king. And I heard stories over the last 20 years of fathers that did just that. They will always be celebrated. And I hope that was a part of your dad's life as well. Second, I believe that a father needs to be a wise mentor. Not a know-it-all. Think Foghorn Leghorn in the Looney Tunes cartoons, and certainly not someone who is unable to give advice, i.e., go ask your mother. A balanced man is ready to bring wise counsel to any situation that arises, and he listens more than he speaks. For how can you bring wise counsel if you do not know the situation? Chuck Swindoll, a evangelical, I would call him, radio talk show host, said that life is presented to us in two parts. 10% of us speaking wisdom, but 90% of us listening with the heart. And so a wise mentor is just that. A dad who will sit and listen, not judge, then maybe come forward with words if son or daughter needs them. It was Clarence Buddington Kellen who said, "My father didn't tell me how to live. He lived, and he let me watch him do it." Third, a father needs to be a faithful friend. Not too much buddy-buddy, because then how can you discipline? And certainly not standoffish. Where I lived and grew up, we had a family, I will not mention their names, but Dad was never home. He was always hunting and fishing. That family went through some difficult times because Mom was unable to really raise her 4 boys on her own. And as a neighborhood, we didn't suffer, but there were always issues related to this one family. You see, Dad needed to be a balanced, faithful friend to his boys. He needed to take them with him to these places where he was going. But that was not the case. There wasn't belief in that family system. And again, I was young watching this, but recently our family mentioned this family's name and we talked about what we saw. Jim Villano said, "My father gave me the greatest gift anyone could give another person. He believed in me." And that's what a faithful friend and a faithful father does for his children. There's belief there. It's Anatole France who said, "In order to do something spectacular, we must not only believe, but act. We must not only dream, but plan." Your children need for you to believe in them, to have established within the home a platform of faithfulness and friendship so that they can grow as they will grow and to be cheered along the sidelines of life as they make their way from childhood to teens, from teens to adulthood, from adulthood to successful sons and daughters. One of the greatest, warmest places in my heart is to see my children now successful adults. To have them go from children in which you doted upon them to teenagers in which there was times where there was maybe a bit of distance involved in that relationship, to having friends now where they come over and we discuss things of life and we discuss their dreams, not as son and daughter, father and mother, but as just friends. I would hope and pray that your family has made its way to that place. For the world is a better place when all of us are friends, whether father, mother, son, or daughter. Fourth and last, a father needs to be a humble servant. One who sits in the background and cheers, maybe supplies everything necessary to make the plan happen, but he takes none of the credit. I remember taking my youngest down the Oregon coast for a father-son long weekend. And we went to a movie in Astoria, Oregon. This was years before the pandemic. I sat in a movie theater and we watched the Lego movie. I had no interest whatsoever in the movie, but I had interest in watching my son 6 rows over laugh his brains out as he watched the movie. You see, as a humble servant, it's not about you. It's about the success of others. Steve Martin put it, I think, the best way possible. He said, "A good father carries pictures with him where his money used to be." And that's what we see when we roll DVD presentations, where a slideshow of a man's life is presented before us. You see sometimes cottages at a lake. Family now has memories there. It's about a cruise or a trip to Mexico or someplace warm where the whole family came. It was on Dad's dime. And everyone now has memories. They take those memories beyond the man's passing. And so in 2020/2021 and previous to the pandemic, that's what I saw. Let me say the quote again. A good father carries pictures with him where his money used to be. All dads need to be humble servants. In closing, let me just say that if you can be a balanced king, and if you can be a wise mentor, if you can be a faithful friend, if you can be a humble servant to your family, you are succeeding. Again, I've heard time after time stories of dads that did it right, and families applaud in the heart and soul on the day that they pass. That there is a celebration attached to loss. And I believe that even if these haven't been found, these 4 pillars or foundational points in your life haven't been found yet, it's time to maybe start. For we can all be a little bit better every day, and eventually when we pass, family will know that we have become our best. But it's hard. And during the pandemic, men, we have not been able to maybe be with friends or be at the pub or go to the hockey game. And in these moments of collective togetherness, sometimes there is a just short period of time in which you can share the heart. Men, you need to be able to share some of your experience with other men. My prayer for all of us is that we'll be able to not walk this path alone. And if you need to reach out to people, whether professional or just friends, do so. Again, through the phone, through texting, we need to share what we're going through, because to walk it alone means that mostly we fail. A faithful king has not just servants, but he also has good counsel with him to make the decisions of life. And so we hope, that is the Arbor family and myself hope, that you are getting all the help you need to be the most successful dads that you can be. For you that suffered loss, we honored your dad today. And we choose to say thank you to all dads for the sacrifices they have made over the years. We choose today to say that we love you, Dad, through the imperfections as well as the perfected state. And we pray that all of us will be able to celebrate Dad and fathers for many Father's Day that follows. Bless you all, and God bless dads.